In this video, we talk about how to terminate an employee. Now, if you're a good leader and an overall good person, you never feel good about letting someone go because you know this will affect more than just the individual. It's also going to affect their families and their co-workers. Now, before we get too far into the video, might I suggest you like and subscribe? In any situation that I've been in or that I've seen, there are two reasons for termination. First, there is a company restructuring. And second, there is poor performance in one way or another. Lucky you, you get to be the bearer of bad news. So let's try to do this so that everyone gets to leave with as much dignity as possible. Step number one, surprise them. No, I'm just kidding, don't. Termination should not be a surprise to anyone. If there's to be a company restructuring, as a manager, you want to get ahead of the problem by letting all of your employees know as soon as you can. You obviously don't want to scare people, but you want to allow people time to consider what they will do if their position is on the chopping block. If you are terminating an employee based on behavior or performance, then I would hope you've had many meetings or discussions with this employee, and you've done your absolute best to help the employee with their shortcomings. 2, make it face-to-face. Make no mistake, firing someone is no joke. I know I've had thoughts of screw them, they did this to themselves. But I'm not saying those thoughts are wrong, but when you see someone in the office and they start to cry because they didn't understand the severity of the situation, even though you've told them countless times, and you see how they are now starting to think about how this is going to affect their family, mortgage, rent payments, and overall everyday way of life, you will see true terror in their eyes. This is going to be very uncomfortable, which is why it needs to be done face to face. Not over email, not on Twitter or any social media platform. And ideally, the direct supervisor, which I'm assuming might be you, should be the one delivering the news. If HR insists on handling the situation, as a direct supervisor, I personally would request to be part of this. Yes, I know, some people are jerks and they couldn't care less about you, your company, or the termination. But do your best to deal with the termination in the most professional, heartfelt manner. Not for them, but even probably just for yourself. Number 3, facts. It's all about facts. This isn't a casual discussion. You need to be prepared for this meeting. You need to be able to say exactly why the person is being let go. You need all the documentation possible, including past performance reviews, discipline files, retirement contributions, etc. We are not talking about how you or they feel. We are way past that. Now there is only room for the facts. Number 4, be prepared for the waterworks or an explosion. Termination of any kind can be very emotional. Like I said before, some employees, they couldn't care less, or they take it in stride knowing this day was coming. But for others, they are going to get very upset and could break down and cry like babies when thinking of how their life plans could be screwed. On the flip side, they may get loud and angry. And I'm sure there will be tons of emotions that you can't predict. Remember, try to be as empathetic as possible for the situation. Allow them to get it out. Give them a little time to pull themselves together. I would be very hesitant about any physical touching, such as reaching over to hold their hands, rub their back, or giving hugs. This person may now feel as though they have nothing to lose, and poof, you have a sexual misconduct claim against you. Just keep it in mind. 5, if the company is making layoffs, try to give employees as much notice as you can. Give them time to look for new jobs, offer to give them references, offer to reach out to competitors, contractors, clients, etc. to help them with the transition. Now, you may think there's no need for you to extend yourself like this, but just consider what you would hope for if you were in their position. If you can help, I would highly recommend you do. In my experience, karma comes around the corner quick, whether for good or for bad. Number 6, clear the air quickly. Whether you're letting one person go or a whole department, you need to be the one informing the remaining staff. You do not want to give out personal details, of course, but you definitely want to get the air cleared before the rumor mill gets moving. Be honest and clear as to what has taken place. Try to eliminate as many rumor angles as possible. Terminating an employee is probably the worst part of being a manager. It sucks, but eventually it will become your responsibility. And the more you can work on your personal empathy skills, the better suited you will be. Question: have you ever had the displeasure of terminating someone? How did it go? Share your experience with everyone below, and as usual, like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Ciao.